Christo Nell here, and welcome to the second class in our coaching obstacle course. In this class, we're going to focus on energy drainers. Creating a more fulfilling life experience. Identify obstacles, those energy drainers, both big and small, that stand in the way of satisfaction. Figure out what is the cost of those blocks in terms of energy, time, and focus. Find ways to eliminate, minimize, or effectively manage those blocks. Blocks to satisfaction drains our energy, hence the name energy drainers. It is things we put up with and endure. They do come in a variety of sizes. So the first category in our energy drainers is what we call the little annoyances. These are the small things in life that we can handle. We usually ignore them, unaware that these annoyances tax our attention and energy. These can be things like unfinished work or tasks. Most of us can tolerate them until they accumulate and really start to irritate us. Only problem is that when they do irritate us, they might have grown to be massive in size and regards and require our attention and our energy. So at the end of the day, these little annoyances need to be addressed. This might be a certain deadline, for instance, for a marketing campaign, or a certain task or commitment that you've made with the family, and small to start with because the timeline is far away, but can become a big issue if it is not addressed. Category 2, these are the big and chronic complaints, life sufferings, we call them. These issues are the ones that create tension and crowd us. We are conscious that they do diminish our life. Sufferings might be related, for instance, to long work hours or family dynamic issues. Every coaching client can benefit from learning about the little annoyances and big life sufferings. As mentioned, the big ones are ones that can involve working many hours per day. So you've got limited time to focus on other things, etc. So how do we deal with these little and big life sufferings? Identify your personal little annoyances and big life sufferings. Coaching clients need to list as many as they can. They usually come in the areas of family, work, home, and community. So for the coachee, time needs to be taken to really write these down, identify them, and acknowledge that they do exist. The second step then is to count the cost. Anything you tolerate has a cost, and it is not a money issue. It can cost time, inconvenience, and frustration. The cost could be your own or others' disappointments, loss of well-being, or vitality. Some acquire energy from suffering and enduring difficult circumstances. However, there is a better way. It will require a coach not to put energy in little annoyances and suffering. So there's a better way to use that energy rather than tapping on energy from, these little annoyances or sufferings. Do something about these little annoyance and suffering if the cost is not worth it. There are 4 ways to eliminate the little annoyances and sufferings. Let's look at those. So 4 ways to get rid of them. Find a strategy for eliminating them. This might mean scheduling some time to specifically deal with them and putting some focus and energy into it to get it done. Basically, what it will mean is if you focus and put energy on these, you will be able to eliminate them. Another option is to allow the little annoyances or sufferings to disappear on their own. park or setting aside an issue to get it out of their focus in order to focus on something else. So if there is an annoyance or a big suffering, one option is to kind of park them. So don't focus on them, set them aside, and really focus your time and your energy on your growth in regards to the coaching journey. The third option is to neutralize them. To do this, you need to look for a compromise. For instance, establishing a realistic date to get something done. So if you had that deadline for that marketing plan, if it's really going to be difficult to get it done in a week's time, see if a compromise can be initiated or decided on where maybe you agree on a realistic date to get that done. Neutralizing them takes the emotional sting out of them. So real benefit to neutralize them. And then the fourth one is ask the question, what is life calling for here? This helps coaching clients to focus on something larger than a little annoyance or suffering. So to take a step back, to really ask the question, what is life calling for here? Makes you think about the bigger picture. How important is this in the bigger picture? And then you might decide to take a specific action towards that to get that little annoyance or big suffering out of the way. Values. Little annoyances and sufferings are sometimes linked to a coaching client's values. Coaching clients need to align their values, actions, and habits. So Merriam-Webster Collegiate Dictionary defines value as something, as a principle or quality, intrinsically valuable or desirable. Values are important in coaching because the coachee's core values, personal value systems, lead them to make certain decisions, which prompt action that will lead to results. So values are really those things that we can't bypass, and as mentioned, these little annoyances or big sufferings are sometimes links to a coaching client's values. And a coaching client, every coaching client will have values. So values are beliefs, qualities, or philosophies that are meaningful to individuals, so much that they are willing to shape their lives and their action to live by them. So it's things that deep down you stand for, deep down you live for, you put energy and action for those. Coaches often find it helpful to consider three levels of values. The superficial shoots, these comes from things we think we should believe. They are usually unexamined, and their origin comes from parents, teachers, church, some other authority, and usually when we were young. Some of my superficial shoots were things like predestination, things like the belief in hell, those kind of things that, before I really started to examine them, they were part of my values, and I thought, well, that's just the way it should be. Chosen values. These are values that resonate with us and we want to uphold. We selected them as important to fulfill, and we act in accordance with them as consistently as possible. And then there's the core values. These are the few, usually 3 to 5, critically important personal values we hold. When the coachee is not living these, they feel depressed, embarrassed, and frustrated. Values create energy toward their fulfillment via action and results. As I say, it's part of those core beliefs, those core values that really makes us what we stand for. So working with values is critical for great coaching, and working with no values is an obstacle to coaching. So it is very important to identify and assist coaching clients around their values. There's power in values. Values reflects the highest thoughts of a person. And a value-based life is a fulfilled life. Conscious work on values are critical. Unless or until coaching clients with conscious effort explore, distinguish, and clearly delineate their personal values or beliefs, it is not possible to orient and create a personal life around them. And if I relate that back to what we teach at Global Grace Seminary, all around grace, all around the ultimate and full reconciliation of all in Jesus Christ, it is important for the coachee to really explore and distinguish and define what are these values to them, what is the personal beliefs. Some of them might have gone through a journey of really getting rid of some of those toxic and wrong religious values, and now all of a sudden they, in this grace phase, they want to grow, they want to be coached to really explore grace and God's love in their life, as well as in the love of those around them. And that needs to take conscious work and effort to really identify and define them. Clients cannot live their values when they are driven by insufficiently satisfied needs. So if your needs are not satisfied, you will struggle to really live your values. And we will explore more of this in unmet needs. However, here we can see that there is a link between energy drainers, because some of those energy drainers basically hijack our values, and then also the unmet needs that are obstacles on a coaching client's journey. And as mentioned, values are core and important to the coachee's journey in regards to where they want to go. If we look at Christocentric values, let's take a look at 1 Corinthians 13, verse 13. Now persuasion and every pleasurable expectation is completed in agape. So love completes everything. What a great value. Love is that underlying value of really what we stand for and who we are. Galatians 5 verse 6 and Galatians 5 verse 22. God believes that we are fully represented in Christ, which takes circumcision or any contribution of the flesh out of the equation. Love fuels belief and sets faith in motion. Your spirit effortlessly bears the rich harvest of love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, integrity, gentleness, and self-control. All these individually reveal the irresistible attraction of the inner life of our design. The fruit of the Spirit, beautiful values, but still it's so important for a coaching client to understand what does these mean to them specifically, and if they look internally at Christ in them, how does these fruit of the Spirit comes to fruition in their life through action? How do they co-labor in Christ to really bring forth the beauty of the image and likeness of God within them? And as I say, that's co-laboring not from effort that needs to be done in the flesh. That's co-laboring from the done work, the finished work of Christ, and Christ in us, then helping us to achieve that Christ likeness and let Christ be formed in each and every one of us. So here's an example of an energy drainer worksheet. This worksheet is something that you will give to a coaching client and they will fill in, and yeah, just an example up to 8, but there can be many more. Pretty much they can fill in energy drainers at work or in ministry, or energy drainers at home, and make a list of those things that basically draw the life and the energy out of there every day. So identify which are those little annoyances and which are suffering. So when you've made that list, you need to identify which ones are little annoyances and which ones are those big sufferings. Which of these can you address right away? Mark them. So basically put an asterisk or a star next to them. The energy drainer worksheet is a strategy to help clients be conscious of what is added to and what can be taken off the energy worksheet, because there is action that a coachee will take to get them off that list. Coaches can ask their customers to make a similar list of energy gainers, things that impact their life in a positive way. So we are looking here at blockages, but you can also list energy gainers. And energy gainers might be things like meditation, might be things like going for a walk, might be things like riding a bike. This brings us to the end of the second course. All the best with the exam, and I will see you for class number 3.